G'day riders. I've been dying to get a Sissy bar on my lowride ST for a long time. And as usual, the pickings down here in New Zealand are pretty slim. We have to look a bit further afield to find decent product at a decent price. As luck would have it, somebody posted a photo of their lowrider ST on Reddit, and it had a great looking Sissy bar on it. So I asked the question, hey, what's that Sissy bar please? And they came back and said it's actually a Viking's bag Sissy bar for lowrider S. Now, I was game enough to believe that anything made for the lowrider S, especially in those 2021 kind of era, will likely fit the lowrider ST. So I was pretty confident that it was going to fit. I went to Viking Bags and found the product, and it was actually on sale, which was great. I think it was around $140 or something, which translated to about 250 New Zealand, which was a super good price for a Sissy bar and a good quality one. So I decided to bite the bullet and order one of the Sissy bars. Now, Viking Bags don't send internationally. That's fine, I'm sure they've got their reasons. But I knew that our national post carrier, New Zealand Post, had an office in Oregon, and they would allow me to get the item sent there, and then they would send it to me here in New Zealand for a price. I thought, great, I'll do that in good faith. So I went ahead and I ordered the Sissy bar using the Oregon New Zealand Post address. And I waited for a confirmation of shipping. Days later, no confirmation of shipping, but I see an email saying my purchase from Viking Bags had been refunded, but there was no explanation as to why. Now again, I purchased it in good faith. I didn't believe I was doing anything untoward. I would think that if there was a problem, somebody would come to me and say, hey, there's a problem. But no, they simply refunded the item. I was confused. So I went to Viking Bags, to the website, and caught up with them on the online chat. And I asked them, why was this refunded, please? And they said, we don't send to freight forwarders. Calling New Zealand Post a freight forwarder is probably a bit like calling Walmart a small business. But I guess in terms of size, when you compare New Zealand to the United States, we do look like a tiny player. I don't want to bag out Viking Bags, apart from the kind of lax or poor customer service. Regardless, you know, I'm not a US citizen or I'm not a US customer, I still feel like they probably should have let me know why they refunded it. At the end of the day, I want to try and work out a way to purchase one of these Sissy bars, and whether or not they send it to New Zealand Post in Oregon or perhaps to someone else in the USA, what's it going to matter? Anyway, I wasn't going to fight the thing, so I contacted one of our very good friends who we met through motovlogging in Virginia by the name of JT Southern Fried, and asked him if he would be happy if I sent the Sissy bar to him and then paid for him to send it on to New Zealand, and he was super happy to do that, and I value it so much, and I still am always blown away by the grace of the motovlogging community. So thanks, brother JT. I ordered the product again and got it sent to Virginia. It arrived, no problem, in a couple of days. The strange thing is, Viking Bags, you won't send internationally, that's fine. You won't send to the New Zealand Post office in Oregon, that's a little weird. But you will send to a friend in the USA, which is kind of the same thing. Strange. Send it to a friend, he's going to send it on. Send it to New Zealand Post, they're going to send it on. If anybody has any insight, I am really interested as to why Viking wouldn't send it to New Zealand Post, but they'll send it to Virginia. Anyway, long story short, I have in my hot little hands the Viking Bags 25-inch Sissy bar for lowrider S, and hopefully I'm going to be able to make it fit the lowrider ST, and that's what we're going to do today. Okay, the first step is we're going to see about getting this docking hardware off and then seeing how we can make the Sissy bar fit. I know some can go under this support strut, and I've seen some on the top of it. So there is a bracket on the back, a brace, you can see there, that the hardware fits into. It's sitting there nicely, I'm just going to leave it there. quiet. So that is a bit loose. So I'm just going to take that off for now. Damn it. There always seems to be one bolt that just won't give. I know these ones have a lot of heavy duty Loctite on them. There's always something going on when you do it yourself. I always end up finding that I need to get extra tools, and this time was no exception. I had one bolt on this side that I just could not break the Loctite. I ended up rounding off one of the Torx heads, unfortunately. So I ended up having to get a new set of Torx, which is kind of good in a way because, you know, it means I get my toolkit together. So, time to get these back off again. These ones were on just loosely while I worked on this one back here. So let's get these off, and I'm going to put some cardboard on the fender itself so that when I come to attempt to fit the Sissy bar, I don't accidentally scratch the fender. That's sitting on the outside of the fender strut. What this does mean is that if I put the hardware back on as is, the bolts will be significantly shorter, particularly because underneath there in the strut there is something of a recess that the hardware was sitting in, perhaps about 5 mil, and the bar itself, this mounting bracket, is probably about 8 mil. There might be about 1 centimetre there, which is a lot when it comes to this bolt. So my thinking is, in the chopper spirit, my butt always puckers when I think about stuff like this, and I'm thinking about getting the cutting disc and the grinder out. Let me see if I can explain a bit better. What I'm thinking is cutting and grinding this end part of this hardware so that that sits flush on the Sissy bar here, and that gives the bolt enough length and it puts that back in the position it was to fit the bags on. I'm pretty confident that I can shorten these and get away with it. What do they say? Don't follow me. I don't know where I'm going either. Anyway, let's go on an adventure. So I'm actually just going to cut down to where this starts flaring out. That'll give me a good guideline, and this is going to just give me that extra bit of bolt length I need without having to get a new set of bolts. I've cut off that piece pretty much down to where it does flare out, and I'm now just going to get the sander out and just smooth it off, level, and finish it off so that they're all the same length. And there we go, 4 sets of mounting hardware, so it'll give me the bolt length I need and also put the mounting position in the position that it should be, or as close as I can get. Okay, so I've got my Loctite and I've got my newly customized mounting hardware. I've got my Sissy bar in position. I'm just going to take it really slow, put one bolt in loosely in each bolt hole, and then just slowly tighten them up so that that pulls that Sissy bar in nice and tight. Because the Sissy bar, there's a bit of movement in it and it's quite tight, as I'm trying to put these in, it is moving around a little bit, so just be aware of that so that one side doesn't pop off and maybe scratch the fender. I was struggling a little bit trying to put that internal bracket back through the holes. What I discovered, obviously, when all 4 bolts are off, that fender can drop, so the holes between the bracket, the fender and the strut don't line up. when I was trying to put it in, I just had to lift from the back of the fender and just kind of lift it up and down until that bracket fit in. I was a bit worried there for a second, but all good, just a little bit of play there. So all 4 bolts are back in. I'm pretty pleased with how they look. Cutting and grinding that hardware, barely noticeable that I've done that. So now I'm going to just tighten them all up just so they're locking onto that Sissy bar, and then I'll just do a final check of how the Sissy bar looks in terms of symmetry, and then I'll tighten them all up. They've all got Loctite on them, so they should be rock solid. Just turning that ratchet quite loosely until it grabs out there. Symmetry wise, that Sissy bar looks beautiful, and looks wise, that Sissy bar looks beautiful. I'm really happy with that. I'm going to tighten up these bolts now and then get the hard bags and put them on, and with a bit of luck all will be well. That's really nice. The support fits down in its place. The bag is securely locked on, pretty much in the same position that it was. I'm going to call that a success. Seems to be something of a problem on this side. Not sure exactly what. Here we go. So for whatever reason, it just needed a bit more of a push forward. Maybe the mounting brackets are just slightly off. Obviously I just did it by sight and by hand, so that stands to reason, but just with a wee push on, the mounting rod here is in its place. Those are locked in. We are locked and loaded. And there we have it. Viking bags, you made it a little bit hard for me. JT Southern Fried, you made it a little bit easier for me. Thank you so much, brother. I'm full of joy with this, and what it means now is that when I take a pillion, they've got something good to rest on. And also when I'm carrying gear, there's little chance of that gear rubbing on the fender. I've already got just a little bit of rub there, which I very much don't like, but that's par for the course when you ride. I'm absolutely stoked with this result, and even though Viking bags, you didn't really help me out too much, I'm really happy with your product.